Hey everyone, it's Andrzej Krzywda from Arkansas. As you may have noticed recently, we are publishing more videos on YouTube. We are trying to be more active on other social media channels, and we blog for a long time, and we have our mailing list for a long time. So it's always the question how to measure our activities. And today I would like to just mention one trap that you can fall into if you rely too much on statistics, but you are not going too deep with them. And the thing is that, for example, now we are experimenting with more YouTube videos, like this one, for example. And with YouTube, you can see how many views you have from a video, what is the time people spend on average on this video, and generally you have the hopefully growing number of subscribers. So then if you look at the list of videos, you can try to compare the results. But just looking at the YouTube video statistics or analytics, it's not enough. Because you may judge some of your videos, and whatever I tell you now about YouTube, it applies to the same with when you write a blog post and then you try to look at the numbers, which one was best. Nowadays, relying on SEO, for example, is not, especially on YouTube, it's not really easily possible. On blog, we really have a good long-term SEO, so this is working for us. But on YouTube, if we have a video which has a lower count of views than others, it's still too early to say that this video was for some reason bad or not useful to the people, because the number of views is more a result of how good your title of the video was, how good is maybe the icon of the video, but most importantly, how well you are promoting and selling this video on other channels. Because that's what we do. If I record this video, I will tweet about this video. I'll try to say why it might be useful for some people to watch this video. But for some of our videos, I forgot to promote them, or the promotion was just a link to the YouTube without too much thinking about how to convince that there's value in watching the video, how to convince that it's worth spending the 3 minutes. So in those cases, those videos will have lower number of views, but it doesn't mean that this kind of video is, for example, there's something wrong with this video. Right now we are experimenting with different forms of YouTube videos. So it's like, you maybe have seen the interviews I was doing. There are screencasts, so more like showing the code. And sometimes there's videos like this, like it's just a talking head, me sharing some thoughts with you. And especially if, like, currently we have not that many of YouTube videos to judge, but still it's too early to fall into this trap that, for example, some of the interview videos didn't really have that many views, but maybe we're still not sure if it's because it's mostly boring to our audience, or we didn't reach the part of audience which might be interested. But most likely we just didn't promote them enough. And by promoting, in our case, I mean the Twitter channel. For some of the videos, I published a blog post, which is some narration and the video is embedded. There is my Twitter channel, and there is like things like Reddit, for example, and Ruby and Rails subreddits, so mailing blogs and so on. So there's depends how well I'm promoting there. This is the number of views. And so you can't judge the video by the number of views in our case, but what you can do is to measure by the upvoting mechanism. Still, I don't rely on this too much because we are still not hitting the big numbers, like in terms of we are not really dozens of thousands of views. We are still in the below 1,000 views per videos. So I think the statistics they don't work well yet. But if you have a video which has, 1,000 views and there is just one upvote, then probably this video wasn't really that useful. But if you have a video and you have another video which was just 100 views, but there are 8 upvotes, and very likely, actually, even though the number of views was lower here, the ratio is better. So that might be something. And just, I'm really learning this whole YouTube thing, so don't rely on my tips here too much. I think in blog posts it's very similar. When you write a blog post and you don't get traffic, it doesn't mean that this blog post was bad. I see people somehow taking this conclusion. It just means there was something not perfect with the promotion. So you should try harder on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, build those channels, maintain those channels. Mailing list is perfect. And only then judge whether, once you promote it, whether people watched it or read this blog post or not. So it comes down to the art of promotion, the skill of, finding a good title, which is not just a clickbait, but on the other hand, it is something that, people can see why it may be worth opening the tab and not closing them, without reading. So, that's the art of selling, and that's the art of selling even the free stuff like blog posts or like this video. Maybe that's a hint for you as well. If you are mostly just consuming content from other people and you like certain stuff, maybe it's worth being aware that the people who are publishing, they usually do look at the numbers and they try to draw some conclusion. So if you see them experimenting with different forms of videos, and you like certain video and you feel like it was worth spending the 3 minutes of your time towards this video, then leaving an upvote on a comment for your egoistic reason can just mean that you may receive more such videos. While if you don't leave any sign that you liked it, they may think, as I'm now thinking, for example, in some situations, that this format of video is not useful. So, and given that I'm just starting this YouTube thing really seriously, at least, I can't carry on with all the experiments. At some point, I will either reduce the talking head, or I will reduce the screencasts, or I will reduce the interviews, because it's just not possible to carry on with all of them. So that's, from the consumer perspective, you can decide. That's your way of voting, not only just reading or watching, but leaving your sign in some other ways. Because on the other side, the publishers, they don't really have good ways of measuring this. Okay, thanks.